Hello, hello, beautiful souls of this community. How are you doing today? Happy Equinox. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're turning into spring, although in some locations you might not feel it's spring yet, but it's here, it's coming. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're switching into the autumn or the fall season. Things are cooling off. So definitely, no matter where you are on this planet, there is some changes. And even if you're in the equatorial zone, I'm sure you're noticing changes as well. They're subtle, but they're there. So I'm sure most of you know me, but if not, my name is Lori, and I am your nutrition mastery coach, life empowerment coach, and I am here to help you with nutrition, but also with helping guide you through getting in touch with nature, connecting with yourself, and finding the best way for you to become empowered so you can make the best choices for yourself. So welcome to today's video. You may have seen the title, Happy Equinox Season. And also, yes, I'm going to share it with you today, my best tip for balance. So first, before I get into that, definitely let me know if you're here, say hi. Although I am viewing from my phone, or not viewing, I'm doing this live from my phone, and sometimes I can't exactly always see the comments. So if I miss you when you're here, I will definitely wrap around and come back and say hi or answer any of your questions you have. Feel free to answer any, or to ask any questions. And it can also sometimes inspire me to do other lives if there's other people or if there's interest in certain topics or there needs to be more clarification. So yes, I don't only work with nutrition because I believe that there are many things in our life that we need to find balance in order for us to be in our healthiest, most optimal state of being. Nutrition is definitely one, but it's not the only. So at the time of the equinox, before I get started, I'm just gonna have a sip of my water, one moment. At the time of the equinox, it's actually a space of equal hours of day and night. So that's where the word comes from, equinox, right? I'm sure there's more in the Latin word of it or something like this. I'm not that familiar, but definitely it's the reference to the equal hours of day and night. So if you look where your sunset and sunrise is, you're going to have pretty close to equal hours, which is really cool, actually. And then from this day forward, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you start to get longer hours of daylight. Or in the Southern Hemisphere, you're going to get shorter hours of daylight. And it's actually really interesting because, like, I had lived on the equatorial zone before in the Philippines, and there I feel like pretty much all year round we're getting pretty close to 12 hours, but it still shifts. The morning hours are earlier and the sun sets earlier, or like everything kind of still shifts together. But it's pretty cool to have that balance, and I really personally I like that. And in the Northern Hemisphere, now we're going to be really going into longer daylight hours. And also, you've already experienced some, I think, the time change in North America. In Europe, we get it in this Saturday night. Our clocks go ahead. I personally don't like it. I really wish we would just leave the clocks alone and do our best to adhere to the natural cycle of the sun and the moon. But anyways, so how do we find balance? What's the best tip for finding balance in our life? Now, this is key right now because the earth and like I just said, the daylight hours, the moonlight hours, this is already balancing. So when we tap into that with our own body, in our own self, it's even more powerful. Tomorrow, we also have a new moon, which also it's the new moon. It's like first it gets dark, right? We go from like a full bright moon and then it slowly like gets less and less of the moon that we can see, and it goes into a dark phase, and then there's the new moon where it starts to grow again and we can start to see more and more of the moon. So we're just in that process right now of getting into a new moon space, so it's actually very limited visibility going to be in the sky of that. And a new moon is also a beautiful time of really planting your seeds, getting, if you think about like the dark soil, the darkness, that time of really being able to plant the seeds of your intentions that you would like. So it's also a really powerful time as well. Now, putting these two things together, it's important to find balance in our life, because when we are really focus on outwardly things, it can be a challenge for us to find that grounding, that connecting, that center within us, right? And it's important, it's really actually imperative that we always still maintain our center and have that balance when we move forward, no matter what time of the year it is. But like I say, when we hit these points in when our Earth is at this equinox space, or at a new moon space, when there's different kinds of things going on astrologically or cosmically, they help us, if we tap into those energies, to move forward at a nice space. But first, we must not only rely on what's going on out there, we must do our best here. And my number one tip is focusing or tuning in to your breath awareness. Our breath is often overlooked. I know I used to do that. I always like, oh, whatever, I'm breathing, I'm still alive, it's all good, I'm going to do all these other things, right? And I also had many years, many years of my life that I suffered from anxiety. And the anxiety I felt came really through my breath. That's what I noticed. But I didn't always have this label that I would say I was anxious or had anxiety. I just noticed my breath was really short. I would get like a breath, like kind of like only up to here, maybe like 1/4 or not even 2/3 of a breath. And it would just be like, I'd be stuck here and I just couldn't catch it. It would really be stuck in here. And it's really important to do our best to get that full range, to use our lungs that are available to us and get that full range of breath, because oxygen is a cleanser. It helps our body, it helps our cells, it helps our skin, it helps everything. We need it. Without our breath, we're not here. Within 5 minutes, we're not going to be here if we're not breathing properly. So we really need to think about this. It's really important. And when we take the time to focus on our breath, it helps our nervous system, it helps our heart rate, it helps, like I say, basically everything. It helps with our longevity as well. If you think about it, for example, say we have, for example, if we're going to say we live to 80 years old, now none of us know this exact date, but let's just put that date out there, right? There means there should be so many amount of breaths that we have allotted in that time frame to get to be 80 years old. If we are taking a lot of short breaths that are only coming here, we're going to have to take more. We're going to have to breathe more often because your body's not going to be getting as much oxygen as it needs, right? So basically, you're shortening your lifespan when we have continuous shorter breath. So I really encourage you to tap into your breath. It comes with heightened awareness. So just bringing that awareness into your space, thinking about, noticing, how am I breathing today? One really amazing tip. Oh, my nose is itchy. I noticed the spring is in the air and pollen is in my throat and my nose. Yeah. Um, so I have a really good tip on top of the tip of already just tuning into our breath. What I really love to do is I set my alarm in the morning to wake up, and I set it 5-10 minutes before I want to get out of bed. And is what I do is I don't keep my phone in my room. That's where my alarm is. I keep it outside of my room. It's just outside the door plugged in. So I go out, the alarm goes off, I go get my phone, I bring it into bed, I go back to bed and I hit snooze. But I don't hit snooze with the intention to go back to sleep. I hit snooze with the intention to lay in my bed and do focused breathing. And it's so beautiful. It sets my tone for my day on such a better level. I get back into bed and I lay on my back and I just fully taken an inhalation, and it's like, wow, even like through our sleep we're not taking in really elongated breathing and breaths. So when you do that consciously, it's just so almost like kind of like mind-blowing. It's just fascinating. I really strongly suggest to start doing some type of breath awareness in your day, and if you can start off your day with it, it's really amazing because it triggers that connecting point from the start of your day, and you can tap into it with greater ease throughout the rest of your day. So it can be like, oh, where's my breath again? There it is. Oh, okay. I wasn't, because we don't most of us don't tend to realize when we're caught in a short breathing space, or when we have anxiety or anxious breathing, or we're tense, things are worrying us, or we're stressed. That's all this like upper chest breathing here, right? We just get stuck up in here because we're stuck up in our head, and we get this like tight, crampy feeling, clamped up. Or I know that's what I feel. I don't know if any of you can resonate with that. Let me know if that's something that you've ever felt, or if you still potentially feel that way. And it can be a sign also that something's not in alignment with what you're doing in your life, because our breath can really be an indicator, like I say, to show us if we're worried, we're stressed, we're concerned, we have anxiety about something. We don't necessarily need to know what it is, what's causing it, but we can see the indication of it. So then we can start to think about, okay, well, I need to make some changes. Like I say, one really good tip I have is starting the morning off with some breath work. And hitting that snooze button never felt so good in my life, because usually you'd be like, oh, it's morning already, hit snooze, and like, oh, I just want to sleep longer. But now it's like I go back to bed. Sometimes I close my eyes, sometimes I keep them open. Usually my cat comes around and even sometimes lays on my chest. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. I think she likes to feel that connection as well. But I still do my breath work whether she's there or not. And I really just take each breath fully conscious. And while I do the breath work, this video is loaded with tips. I said one tip, phew, BS. I got like 10 tips in here already. Maybe not that many, but pretty close. When I do the breath work, I also do a mantra or a type of affirmation for myself for the day. And a really easy one is, today's going to be a wonderful day. And every breath, today's going to be a wonderful day. Exhaling, today's going to be a wonderful day. Inhaling, today's going to be a wonderful day. Exhaling, today's going to be a wonderful day. Repeat that until your snooze goes off, till the alarm goes off, and I guarantee you will feel so amazing. You can put whatever words you want. I just suggest it being something positive. It does, yeah, just go with something positive, what feels right for you. It can be just, I love myself. Anything that feels good for you. Let me know how that goes for you. I would really like to hear about that, because it's such a simple thing. And like I say, I never in my life have loved snooze as much as I have now since I started doing this. And actually, I just started doing this a couple months ago. So it's a relatively new routine for myself in my morning, but it feels fabulous. And I really want to share it with you because I love empowering people who are interested and willing and ready to also take steps to empower themselves. Um, I also wanted to say, make sure your alarm isn't a sound that's really horrible and annoying, like me, like this kind of really horrible sound, because that's not going to be really nice for your nervous system when it first goes off in the morning, and when it's going to go off the second time when you're doing your actual breath work laying back in your bed. You can pick, if you're using your phone, you can pick songs and have a really nice melody or your favorite song that comes on, which is what I have. And it's so beautiful to hear that song come on. And I think, oh my God, I just want to leave my phone go off because I want to listen to this song. But again, these little tips and tricks really can help to bring us into a better state of being, but also, like I say, bring us into balance, because there's so much, so often, if you follow the news, even if you have people in your life that follow the news, you're going to hear a lot of the garbage that's going on out there in the world. And it's really important to tune inward and focus on yourself to get yourself into the best state of mind possible. And when you tune into your breath, you can do that. So I'm just going to stand up and do a couple moments of some breath work with you. So it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be difficult. If you don't feel like doing it right in the morning, you can also do it throughout any point of time in your day. And you can even call it meditation if you want. If the M word, if meditation scares you or turns you off or feels yucky and icky, and don't call it that. Just call a little bit of breath work, breath awareness, time for myself, whatever label you want to put on it. Doesn't really matter. The point is to do it. And like I say, now with the new moon in place, with the seasonal changes, these are also really good times for us to take steps and move forward with things that we want to have in our life. So what I like to do is really simple, just counting to 4. I like to just inhale to 4 and exhale to 4. Of course, you can do longer breath. I think if you're just starting out with breath work, the count to 4 is a really nice number. If you're more familiar with it, you can definitely add longer. You're also more than welcome to do a longer exhalation. So you really make sure you let everything out, exhaling everything. And inhale, you'll take it back in. So now this can be done, like I say, if you're just laying in your bed, you can also have your hands on your chest or hands. I like if I'm just kind of like checking in, I like to see also, and I do this with my yoga students, you can put your hands just here on your rib cage, just under your chest, because we want to also make sure if you are doing your breath work or doing your breathing or your self-awareness that you're not breathing up here tight in your shoulders. So for example, this is what we don't want to do. If you are doing it, number one is the awareness. Be gentle with yourself and know that you can make changes. I've been there. It's okay. We all have these different times and spaces in our life. I'm not here to judge. Okay. So, what we do want is to have that deeper breath here so it goes deeper in. So, when we put our hands on our rib cage, you can watch mine for a moment. You can see how my hands went out there, and exhale, coming back in. Inhale, exhale. You can see perhaps there's the slightest lift in my shoulder because it's just like my arms even going out with that. But again, the first one, what I showed you, what we don't want to have, where it just gets caught here, right? That's really showing you that there's a lot of stress and anxiety and tension in your space. And like I say, it's the first step is awareness. If you have a really hard time also with your breath and getting into that full space, because I've had that before too, where it's like, oh, BS. Yeah, my breath is here, but I can't bring it here. I'm not able to get there. So the next little technique I can show you is a 3-step breathing. So it's kind of like you breathe first lower, then you fill up here, and then the third inhalation is here. It's like 3 inhalations coming in. 1, 2, 3. So exhale everything. Inhale. Exhale everything. Inhale. Exhale everything. One more time. Inhale. Exhale everything. I find when I'm feeling tense, when I'm feeling anxious, when my breath is caught in this upper space, that 3-part breathing really helps me to relax. And I've also heard that from clients and yoga students that I work with as well. The 3-part breath is a really good space to get us breathing deeper. Another good kind of like way I like to look at the bottom of our lung space is like that prime real estate. We really want to get into that prime real estate, really bringing the oxygen in there, filling it up, right? So here, we'll do one more with your hands on your rib cage. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good, wonderful. And again, just another little one to show you as well. I like to count, like I say, to 4. So inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. And now find your regular breathing. Just a few simple minutes of doing breath awareness can really shift your day. Any time of the day, all parts of your day. You can also do it before you go to bed. So, yes, let me know how that works for you. I'm really curious if you notice a difference because I do. I've had years and years, like I say, of improper or I don't like to judge, and I feel like improper is quite a judging word, but I would say I had years of breath that was not full inhalations. And I feel it. I felt it in my life. I felt it in my day-to-day activities. I couldn't go hiking properly. I had a hard time because of course, especially if you're doing something where you're active, it's like you're not getting the breath, right? So if you notice you're not getting the breath, take a moment, specifically do the 3 inhalation breath and exhale everything out. That I feel is the easiest one to regulate. Once you get regulated, then you can do some counting in each inhalation and exhalation. Doing or tapping into your breath is an amazing balancing tool. As I said, we can find balance between our inhalation and exhalation. Already there, we're creating nice balance in our life. This time of year, in the equinox seasonal changes, we help ourselves when we tap in naturally to what's going on in the world around us to find that balance within us as well. Again, a new moon, it's not exactly, the new moon is not exactly focusing on balance, but when we are more balanced, we are more energetically aligned to tap into what the moon, the energy of the moon is naturally providing for us. I hope this video finds you well. I would love to hear from you. Let me know how it goes if you do tap into using any of these breath techniques or breathing work, and or if you have a different one, please share it as well. Yeah, take care. I wish you the most wonderful seasonal change possible. Take time for yourself. We are going through a lot of changes right now with the equinox and new moon, and there's actually a lot of planetary changes that are going on right now. I would get into that perhaps in another video, but not right now. And there's just basically, there's a lot of things going on right now. So be gentle with yourself. Come back to your breath. Find balance in your breath and see how it ripples out into your life. Take care. See you guys next time. Bye bye.